So I'm going to do a presentation for you. But before I do this presentation for you, I wanted to share a verse in I wanted to use a verse in Genesis 38. Genesis 38. Oh, sorry, it's Genesis 39. Sorry, it's Genesis 39. Verses 2 and 3. Yeah, it's verses. Yeah. And the Lord was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his master, the Egyptian. But I want you to underline the word that says, and the Lord was with Joseph. Now, a brief story of Joseph that we all know is that Joseph was a dreamer, number one. And the most interesting thing, he also did not understand the purpose of him being a dreamer. And I'm talking under a topic says, we are called to serve. My presentation is also based on we are called to serve. He didn't also understand why he had the dreams that he had. We know about the dreams. I'm not going to explain them. But my emphasis was on this verse to say, and the Lord was with Joseph. You see, when the Lord is with you, things that happen or things that you also do, you don't seem to understand. When you reflect back, you understand why was Joseph a dreamer. When Joseph was thrown into the pit, one of his brothers felt pity for him because they would have killed him. But God used one of his brothers for him to be lifted out and to be sold. And those that also sold him also did not understand that they were also fulfilling the dream and the purpose of God. So that Joseph's dream was following him. He did not have a dream and he was following his dream. He was fulfilling his dream. His dream was following him. Do you understand the difference? Now, these guys, the Ishmaelites, sold him to the highest prince in Egypt, Potiphar. He was a good, as the verse says, he served him, and because the Lord was with Joseph, the first difficulty he finds in Egypt is Potiphar's wife who wanted him. He escapes that, but he finds himself in jail. Every situation that he's being put into by men, God finds a way of rescuing him and fulfilling his purpose. Ultimately, the dream of him that the brothers come and bow down in front of him gets fulfilled. Now, this verse, what it teaches me, the story of Joseph. Joseph was called to serve a purpose. So sometimes as we walk in life, as churches, as district, we don't understand why we go through the difficulties that we go through. But at a certain stage of your life, when you look at it, you look back and you realize why you have been going through the difficulties. So you have no reason to hate brother so-and-so who threw you into the pit. You don't have a reason to hate somebody who sold you. Because all this that they were doing, it could have been God's plan to put you where you are, for him to serve God. So this could be applicable in our lives as well. As men, we're going through difficulties. And the difficulties, some of the difficulties we go through, is keep his tunes. Angazi keep his tunes in a suit in bengizoyichaza. Nisasirithi. Yes. You know? Yes. Keep his tunes. Yes, sirithi murutu wacho. But you still hold on because there is a purpose for you. So I'm here to tell you the challenges that we have as the Western District. And I'm here to say, even if tomorrow I'm not here, or we are not here now, we have a plan in place to say, what do we want to achieve as the district? And if we agree, you see, I was a instructor in ESCOM. I used to teach guys electricity. That's my profession. And the policy is that when you sign the register, of which I hope all of you have signed, one, it means you are present, and two, you will be the witness of what you have been taught. And three, you agree on what was taught in the class, and you understood what was taught. So I hope you have all signed your names down. Have you? Mangene 18, did you? If you didn't, I'll make another register, you'll sign. Because I want you to also commit ukuthi benikhona namhlanje ningizwile and siyavumelana. Yes. So Jerry, can you go to the first slide? Our first slide it says, all right, yeah, go back. It's empty, I know. It's an introduction, but it's an empty introduction. Because we need to fill it up to say, what do we want to do? But from what I have already explained, the challenges that we have is that as men, we go through things. We make mistakes at times. Do you understand? For instance, we bought a farm with all the good purpose. Some of you were not even here when the farm was bought. I was still a young boy when the farm was bought. The farm was worth maybe 200 or 400, 200,000. I know my mother was still alive, and she was working in Makishini. You know, in Makishini, in the suburbs, cleaning for Abelung. They bought the farm at that place. I didn't even contribute. But that farm that they bought at that time, as the West Rand, has put us in trouble. Because of the faults that we, who did not contribute, made. I'll tell you how we made the mistake. We were leaving the duties to others to do what we were supposed to do. When we were supposed to take our position as men, we were sitting back, and others made decisions for us, and we were absent. And the effect that we had as the Western District affected the conference. And the conference was split into two, as we all know. Why? Because we are absent. So our presence in everything that we do is the commitment that we are going to do today. The register that we are going to sign today to say we are here. We are going to make changes. We're no longer going to be absent when decisions are taken. When DMB is called, Tshelu Mamekaya, that there is district management board and I need to be there. Be there. So that whatever decisions that are taken, you are part of. Nyangizwa bobaba. Ngizonipha chance bafethu sizodiscuss. I'm just laying the foundation of why we are here. And I want you to understand ukuthi the mistakes that we did as the Western District has affected the conference. But maybe it was for a good purpose. You know, when I spoke to my mother-in-law, she said to me, it's okay sometimes that you split, because manhleli ndawonye and coolly. Nyangizwa bafethu. Abafethu abanye would not have been elders today if Imundi was not there. Because Orlando West, besihleli in the comfort zone. Besiya enkonzweni every Sabbath without fail, but besingama bench warmers, sihlele move. We had to leave Orlando West after fighting, and some of us are elders. Some of us are in positions that we thought we would not be, because we thought those positions are for Abobanbani, I-14. So now we need to hold the bull by its horn. Jerry, we can go to the next slide. Now, I have proposed, it's just that our presentation is not very clear because of the, but there on top, it's written what to do. I can change where I am so that nami ngizokhona ukufunda kahle ne? Yeah. There on top is written what to do. Actually, let me use my phone because angeke ngibone kahle nalapha. But bengifuna nibone kahle bobaba. But we will share the presentation with you guys. Because this interim committee that sat down and it saw it fit that we share this with you, and then we are all committing to it. I'm going to read it from my phone because maybe it will be clearer. The first point says what to do. All men should be involved in the church and the district matters, and we need no bystanders. Nyangizwa bafethu. Shukuthi manje isikhathi sokuba yisiwengu angazi isiwengu yayi bystander ne? Isiwengu lesi sichera yithi iwengu ze Pirates and the Chiefs. No bystanders anymore. We should all be partakers of the decisions that are taken. That's the first thing that we need to do. We should be brothers keepers at all times. All times. You know, in my church, we started a food parcel where we share food. But this is what we did when we started Jengabobaba. But ultimately, sesa inikeza bo mama, sesa include nabo mama, and they bahamba ngayo futhi. And sabaphi credit, but sazi ukuthi beyiqalwe yitha bobaba. You understand? But the purpose was this. We know ukuthi kunabobaba abaningi abangasebenzi. Niyangithola? Because of the pandemic, even before the pandemic started, actually, we started before the pandemic. They say in number of abangasebenzi has been increasing. So, more baba unga provide the endling. Do you understand what that makes you? Iyakudelelisa ngomama, delelisa ngabantwana bazi ukuthi kusebenza umama obhadala school fees. Mabekhula labantwana bazokhuluma bakhuluma kahle ngomama bangakhulumi kahle wena. So besithi mfethu wozothatha igrocery. Ungena endlini. Besenza ngalesaka leli likhulu leli ngiyalibona leli angasi yeah I know le ikhwama ezikhulu lezi senza ukuthi igcwale. Uthi mawufika lapha endlini uyibeke phezulu kwetafula bese ubheka le. Khulumani ke. Kanti uyazi ukuthi no uzitholile la uyithole khona. But we are trying to rebuild isithunzi sabo baba. That's what this thing is talking about. How we become brothers keepers. Number 3, we must set goals and strive to achieve the set goals as a collective. The goals that we set, we must agree on them. Let me tell you what happens, gents. When we apartheid, we were very clear what silwa namabhoni. You understand? That was our goal. Kuti silwisa apartheid in yasuki apartheid kongena thina. Look at the havoc what happened. If we look at it even now. Why? Because asizange sizibekele ama goals ethu. So that nomuntu ozongena emva komuntu osimkhethile number 1. Anzi ukuthi if ngena for 5 years, my purpose is to still make sure ukuthi I build this house. If ingaphelelanga or whatever, omunye ozongena uyangena uyaqhubeka, aqhubekele phambili. Niyangithola? That's how you set goals. So this meeting, I'm not supposed to have been started even talking now. But we thought as we sat down to say, let me be the first speaker. So that whatever we do, we have the goals that we have already set. Whatever happens, we know at the end of the day, what we started with is actually our goal. Nyangithola ngisho njani bafethu? Angithi mayidlala game, the ultimate interciphe results of the game. Angithi who won? That's what we are trying to do now. We need to improve communication within the district and as Adventist Men ministry. How we communicate amongst each other, we need to improve. Not only Western district, we could learn from other districts that are doing well, better than us. Improve continuous leadership initiatives like training, mentorship, and coaching. Now, in other words, don't be a person owazi kakhulu. I know. Can I? I know. I know. Yabazabo, I know. When I can't hear. So we need to improve. Even if you've been an elder before, when gune leadership training, raise your hand, go there, because there could be things that I knew that we should know. That's one of the things that we do. Oh, here is the one that I like, which is the one that made me to set up the table. I said, back to basic, old times Adventist culture, effective afternoon programs, Bible studies, reading, sharing, ministering, etc. Do you remember Sasama Pathfinder? Oh, okay, what we need, when I say we need to go back to basics, we knew when we were still young, Uguchi, afternoon, if kungena program, kune Bible study. If there was no program, they would basically get music, basically Bible study, and would partake. I think that's the reason why we are still here today, most of us. But we've made it loose, we've made the belt loose, Tina. Abantwana bethu sebekhuluma isilungu. Daddy, no, I don't want to go in. It's boring. Okay, my daughter. Okay, my son, you can go. Now, one of the things, so we need to take back that situation. We're back to basics. This one I had put as when men pray. We used to have Gumel voice at some stage. We used to say when men praise, God hears. Maktan, yabona indoda ayikhali nje indoda. Yeah. Kodwa indoda mayikhala. NoNkulunkulu ayazi ukuthi yes. Hathi ngizwisise kahle le ndoda futhi ukuthi ikhalelana. Now, when we pray, madoda, this is us expressing our tears to God. We need to start praying. We need to have those weekly praying sessions. We have the PHAKAMA concept started on a Wednesday where we are praying as men. We encourage men to pray. But we actually even took it further, looking at other things that men should do also. Issues that affect men. Health issues, we address them in the PHAKAMA Wednesday thing. You understand? So, but what is important? The first thing that we should do is that we should pray as men. We need to be men with high moral values. And we need to walk the talk and take a firm stand against GBV, gender-based violence. Khona baba lana nabafundisi abashayayo. Bakushaya bakuvale ngomqamelo. Ukuthi ungabi nama-bruise. Ungalethi evidence enkonzweni. Now, if we have high moral, indlela esiziphatha ngayo. You understand? Ekhaya, you must be a person abamjabulelayo mayengena. Kungangeni ibhubesi babaleke baye emakamereni. Abomakhelwane bakho mele bazi ukuthi indoda yamadoda leya. Masinenkinga sigijimela kuyo. And siyazi ukuthi the first thing that he will do, he will make us pray. We should not be different in church, different at home, different in our society. We should be the same men all the time, men with good morals. We should have high health conscious standard. Our health issues, for instance, I don't experiment ngokudla ngoba ngiyakwazi ukudla engikudlayo and nje kahle kahle ngesince sensitive angibajabulisa abangani bami bedla ama prawns ngiwadle nami. I don't do that. Ingulube istandard angiyidli and I don't play. Angithi no bacon angiyidli. You understand? Issues that relate to health. Wherever you are, you should not be pressurized by the situation that you find yourself. It could be many other things that relate to health, not only food. But Tina, we have a lot of excess of books that we know that we have lived to. It's just that, like I said before, we have let go of many things. So let's not sacrifice our health in the process as well. We should take active, we should support our conference in the mission and the vision that they have. Everything that we do as men in our district, we should be supportive of our. No man should be a bystander. Ungezwa ngabantu kuthi kuyo why okay singiyaya nami ayiqale nawe hamba nayo. Evangelism, spiritual growth and church growth should be one of our values. Umngani wami lo ke bafethu okhalelwa iphone asiyicimanga izolo bekumele siyicime izolo, so yeah siyamxolela. Church growth is our responsibility. Evangelism is our responsibility. Spiritual growth iqala kuyo le ukuthi sifunde sibe nama Bible studies. Sometimes when you teach, you understand things even better now. It's the more it becomes clear. That's why I think umfundisi, hey man, sinomfundisi powerful bafethu man, president. Njalo manje khapele isikalivala kibadile Bible 11th time. Why would you read a book 11th time? Are you crazy? But he's not. Believe you me, each time he reads, he gets a better understanding. He gets to get closer to God. That should be us. We should learn. When he says it, he's not saying it because he's boasting. He's saying it because he wants to encourage. That will help us to make our church grow if we do such things. We should talk less and have more action. And have strategic missions and visions. You know, man ngekho strategic. Nilwela into engekho. Tumzwile uthini? Abekhuluma ngami. Seyisukile. Yeah. Asisakhulumisani. So bheka sesibhekana kabi because asivumelananga asiyazi into si. So let's talk less, Buffett. So my first step of talking less is that when I finish my presentation, I've got these pamphlets that I will share with all the Adventist men leaders in the district or the people who are representing certain churches if they don't have Adventist men, that we should start the issue of Bible studies. So these pamphlets that I have here, and I'm going to give one book, you're going to go as men and start teaching one another and sharing with your church as well. So I'm doing the less talking and more action. Yangtol? Yeah, angizange kuzokhuluma nje, angeniphi lecture mahala, ngiyanipha futhi nencwadi. Okay. So that's being active. Now, I want to highlight that Deliberately, our Adventist men should start at 13 years, gents. We should start it at 13 years and going up. Why we need to start it at 13 years? Young boys see more what we do than hear more of what we say. So if we start including them at that age of 13 years, they will understand our purpose. Ngengaya kwesinye isitasa. Bekuhlela abafundisi la. Baningi la ngaphansi. Ngo-2014. And we had our stasa at Pine Town. The other stasa besise Durban. Sase Orange Grove. So ngangihamba nabosibari bami ngishadele eMaritzburg, unkosikazi wami usuke eMaritzburg. So bengihamba nabosibari bami bese ngibayisa kule stasa sethu. Hey man, bathi manthemba man, ngathi usise stasa esirong. Sicela usise kulesi sinye stasa. Ngithi okay, asambeni ke bafethi. Sifithi umfundisi Mapongo uyashumayela lapha. So the way bebes manje ngihleli nami lapha. Bashaya lesa stasa lesiya. Mabesa qala ba introduceana, basishaya lesi stasa sangale. Bese uMapongo uyasukuma. Uthi listen, I had a sermon that I was going to preach, but due to the circumstances that I am hearing and I'm finding myself, I am changing my sermon. I'm now not going to preach like a Kumbuzeni Buffet. Why did you mention a priest? Yeah, there's a priest and what? And a prophet. Yes. But I'm not going to preach like a priest today. I'm going to preach like a prophet. Because the prophet works for God. He's not aligned to anybody. He listens to God. Because the priest earns the salary from those that are in charge of him. Then one of the things he says when he starts his presentation, which he offended a lot of people, or those who were in office at the time, you don't climb to the high office without having grown into the synagogue and see what your father is doing, how he leads the church. Melukhulele khona. Ungafiki so figure so ungena ku high office ngoba wena ubuye school fresh from school ungena abanye bazo understand ukuthi wayeshaya abanye. Ni understand? You are fresh from school, mari so ungena ku high office. Now, that's what we are not supposed to do. We have kids that are in church already. But if they don't see us participating, they see us as bystanders, what will they learn from you? So we start our Adventist men as early as 13 years. We need to cater for their program. We need to make them to participate in their program. I do it in my church, believe you me. Those young men that preached, that did the Sabbath school at Lextop, they are part of Adventist men. You understand? We can also learn from them, old as we are. So let's not take things for granted. Let me rush quickly so that but I must say, in the event that we push the other speakers fast, it should sink in you. Because if Melisi discuss it late in the afternoon, we will come back, but it's not intended that way. Now, the other slide says, go, Jerry. Young Adventist Men Portfolio Development Program. Sengizozigibela ezinye nizozichazela ngeke ngizichaze 100% the way I did with the other ones. I said for the young men, Adventist men, like I said, they start from 13 and going up. We need to identify their life and personal skills development. We need to create those programs for them. You understand? So that we identify what is their God-given talent and enhance it. Niyangithola bafethu. And abantwana bamanje, they are more exposed, unlike us. Khule mina ngazi ukuthi kumele ngibe udokotela, or uthishera, or lawyer, or iphoyisa. Yeah, that's what we. Nale kusebenza ngezandla, bebethu kusebenza ngezandla kwabantu abadoma. Bebesifundisa kanjalo. But believe you me, hey, kusebenza ngezandla bafethu iko okumnandi. So we should enhance their skills, ne? And develop them. We should teach them. We must put them under leadership development. Understand? To be a leader, bafethu, is not status, but is to serve. Don't think that ukhethwe ukuthi umdala, ndingumdala ngoku mina ngimkhulu kokerekeng yaka. Mkhulu tata wasebenza. Wasebenza. You are serving. You are the servant. You are the number one servant. In case there's no deacon, you are the deacon. In case there's no janitor, you are the janitor. That's what we should learn to be when we are leaders. Mangekho khona umsebenzi wakho baba. And if I will encourage, but let me tell you, the challenge that we have as abobaba, we are all leaders at the same time. Much as I'm saying this is for young men, we should teach them basesebancane ukuthi baba yazi kubuhlungu kanjani uqosha ama-agency ngicela siqoshe namaphepha bakubheke nje bathi lewuthi le-18 lewuthi angithi umdala mfethu qosha uyi-1 because akafundiswanga lo muntu asesemncane ukuthi asisebenzisane. Ufundiswe ukuthi my child, you are edliwayo, you are better than everybody. We speak English here at home. Engakwenzeli nix English yakhona. So simele sibafundise sibasesebancane labantu laba bafethu. We must put them in courses like coaching and mentorship initiatives. It's our responsibility to coach the young people. It's our responsibility to mentor them. Very key. Young people will not be able to do anything if they don't have funds. So issues of fundraising, the young people or the youth, they say, charge 200. But 60 rand. No, understand the purpose. You understand? Understand the purpose. You are actually helping them. 200 is not even the limit. Give them as much as you can, so that whatever they want to achieve, for as long as you are part of them. I need to start the to-do list. One of the first things is there is no what? There's no bystander. So if the young people ask something from you, try, do something. The little that you have. We need to put them on the processes of Bible studies and evangelism. This one I called it Digital Boy of Christ. These boys, they know technology 10 times better than us. Awubheke laba bazalwa manje ngo-2020 abana 1 year ngibona umunye manje hayi mama uya lapho ufuna isanitize una 1 year seke understand isanitize akakumelanga angene ufuna isanitize understand imask laba esesinabo abana 13 ifone le ngiyiphethe bayazi 10 times better than we do. You understand? Laptop, oh, they're very good. So they must use that digital or the technology to evangelize, to read the spirit of prophecy. Do you understand? We must encourage them to do such things. Obviously, because they still have a lot of energy, they must have recreational activities. Badlala ibhola, basketball, senza marathon, you know, icaleni besinokuchallengeana nezone 3. But this coming Sabbath, Tina, the tester, ne? Abantu bala ePretoria, bayosivakashela, bane closing program ezobe phethwe youth, ebusuku bakhona sizodlala ibhola. recreational activities. They should be involve ourselves. They should be involved in debates and public speaking. They should debate about what they understand with what the Bible is saying. They could take Abraham, for instance, and debate about it. Why did God choose Abraham? The Israelites should be a chosen nation through Abraham. Any debate, I'm not restricting, I'm just suggesting. There are people, because they also are highly involved with non-Adventists. We should allow them to invite non-Adventist peers. We should encourage them to have male choirs. At district yethu sine male choir exekayo ma. Yaxeka. Orlando West. Makumele ngabiza manje bangeza bashaye khona manje. Mara ngithi ngithi beze practicing. Hey. Para Coleman unenkinga lapha. Practice. We have all the reasons under the sun not to come. But let's make these young men to have this. We must make them to have entrepreneurial minds. Thina inkinga yethu sifundiswe ukuthi kwesikolweni ukuthi sisebenze. Kanti one of the things that should do is that we should run our own businesses. This is where I think God has made our mindset to have that outlook. They can have develop business plans. We guide them, those that have the ideas. We should allow them to present their business plan to potential funders. You understand? Singathi ngoba wena uphelele la, ufuna umntana kaphelele lapha. Ungamlimit. You understand? Bavule, expose, make them to meet people, facilitate those meetings. So they should meet people who have ideas about businesses. Then the next slide, Jerry. This one is shorter. Says district development portfolio. It talks about now the crisis within our district. One, I say identify district development projects. That is churches, schools, health facilities, and tertiary institutions, hotels, hospitals, facilities, and etc. So the development portfolio, its intention is for the growth of the district. If a deep slot identify a site, imali abanayo kwamanje eyokwenza a small shack, but their intention is to build a church. We as a district, we should come together also. You understand? And give them a helping hand. Ngiyangithola ngisho njani bafethu? Mina ngikhule in a situation where only zones, you know, zone 3 bezos masiqeda renovate Orlando West eXoli. If bese bazosipha a donation of what they would have put together, 3,000, 4,000. Nabo mabenza siyabheka, hey bebe sipay 4,000. Nathi asiyeni 4,000. No. Singenzini kanjalo. Basipay 4,000 ngoba iloko bekusemandleni abo. Ngiyangithola. If you need to give them 10,000, 20, 100 for them to do the development of the church, let's contribute to that. But the development, district development portfolio is a portfolio where men sit to say, what can we do? What do we identify? How can we help our district to be in a better situation? There was a farm that was bought by the Western District. Can't we look at things like those, for instance? The other thing that we should do when we have identified the project, we put development project plans to guide the collective. So masesine project identify siba plan. Obviously, the next point, we fundraise. So imali intemele sihlale sinayo bafethu. Shouldn't be have an excuse. Masithenga masifuneka ibandla, funeka imali nakhona. We need to ensure that we comply with the legislation, like the municipalities, NHBRC, you understand? Masaka, sibe send the latest things as irrelevant. The next point says, conduct skills audit and volunteer and donate our local skills, and we should keep the database. There is a audit, what is it, Tabiso? It's audit survey. Survey. We are going to get it late in the afternoon. We're going to fill it up, and then what we need to do, I think I know my contacts. So this is who's the builder, who's the engineer, who's the doctor. You understand? And then if skills ngenaso, siyangaphandle. And then also here, one of the last point that I wrote is reach out and touch, a helping hand. Like we could have donate school shoes to children, donate clothes. Let us have a purpose. Next slide, Jerry. Church Matters portfolio. This comes back home. It says, handle and tackle church legal matters. We need to have that portfolio, and we need to be involved in that portfolio. People who have the capabilities of legal issues. We've got kids who are doing law or just have graduated in law. We involve them. Do you understand? Because one of the things that we need to tackle is setcom, mangit. Niyakumbula bafethu? Hello? Setcom, eh? Definitely. We need to get our title deeds of all the churches that we own. Because more title deed bafethu nemali. Uyakwazi ukuboleka imali ebank ukuthi ngicela ni assess property yami ukuthi valuation malini. Ngithenge 5 million, then 10 years later, I say 5 million. Say I'm like 7, 8. That's what title deed does for you. And also, a title deed, iyandlula from generation to generation. We need to get farms, farm acquisition. The other point about handling and tackling legal matters is implement court decisions and victories. This committee is supposed to be one of the committees that handle the APIS resolutions and all the victories and the losses we had in the past. Obviously, Nayole committee, like the other two committees that I already mentioned, the youth and the development committee, nayo ifuna ama funds. But if see involved, says ukuthi ama funds eta sebenza kanjani, we will not ask questions. You understand? See attend ama DMP kahle. We will not ask questions because we will know ukuthi kwenzakalani. The most important thing what this portfolio has to do, it has to unify the churches and the district. Unity. united, if we're united, we become strong. And it's not easy for us to be broken down. Because if we understand kahle ipurpose yethu, noma ungalanda lo babo semuva le understand, you will not umsuse kule nto ayishoyo. So if this portfolio understands what needs to happen, we go places. Now, I've mentioned 3 portfolios. One was the Young Adventist Men development program, which has to have a portfolio. They need to have a committee of their own. District development, which is looking at growing the church, acquiring properties. It has to have a portfolio. Church matters portfolio. These ones is tackling issues of setcom, title deeds. It has to have a portfolio. We need to identify a leader. There should be a committee, and within the committee, there has to be a leader. And these committees, all 3 of them, they need to have both young people and old people. And just mix. You understand that? Because that's the purpose of mentoring. Because tomorrow, if I'm not there, Ukol is my assistant in my church, and he's younger than me. And there's another younger man, Ukona, he's also, you understand? So we do it like that. Now the way forward, Jerry, says the portfolio committees should identify leaders. They should submit their plans to the executive of the AMU, submit quarterly reports, and we should be able to track the performance. Masi iya ku DMP, and they are not able to report. In other words, what should happen? These portfolios, this is a reporter we executive here AMU. You understand? But we will, all of us, we will know who is in this committee, who is this in this committee. You understand? So these way forward are just measures to track their progress of how they work. You understand? But the whole thing lies also with the executive committee AMU. Ne? Is that clear? Am I clear, Jens? Okay, thank you. You should submit quarterly reports to track the performance. AMU to conduct biannual performance reviews. You see, every month of nama report. No, just once in 6 months, check how far are they. If Konyama activities and nama plans, you support them, and then you are able to report to the DMP. But the ultimate decision goes to the DMP to say the DMP to conduct and moderate reports and the performance. That's what the DMP will do. Good DMP ngoba sihlangana sonke angithi. And sesivumelene ukuthi asinawo ini ama nobody is a bystander. We all should be involved. So we will be aware how these portfolios are progressing. And we should implement performance improvement plans. So in other words, there could be those that, like during COVID, were difficult in performing a lot of things. So when it's your turn to report, but you could not be able to report, we should be able to say, okay, these are the obstacles that you had, but how can you improve? You understand? So singabagxeki nje, kodwa sibe nama plans that we put in place. So this is my presentation that we have put as the interim committee AMU. Now the next slide is discussion. If anybody has anything that he thought, we're not going to discuss for too long, but if anybody has anything that he thought we would have left or could add, can raise his hand so that I keep.
You as a blind man.
Yeah.
Number 2, it would serve as an economic sort of protection, so to speak,